And here's result with the additional elements. And as I said, now our bottom area of the fire, let me disable that. You can see now I render the water surface with the shadows from those guys, from this smoke. It's looking good, pretty good looking. And I add this element, now it covers those areas which I don't like, and add a nice transition. And yeah, it's covered this area, as I said, with this blue line, this shadow from the ship. So how we apply this? If we look here on this render, in fact, I copy this setup from my main smoke over here. So definitely I have the same setup. The first thing, I combine my direct sunlight and the skylight, then get the volume light from here using the luminance keyer. Oh, it doesn't get any effect from now because there is no such brightness that has the main light, so I can even remove this guy. So make a color correction to remove the yellow color, adding a little bit of blur, so just slightly blur because we have some noise effect from this. I try to increase the volume light sampling pretty high, but it goes very, very low render time. Very big render time, so I use a blur here so it doesn't look like very noisy, just tiny bit, almost 3, and that's the difference. That's what we had. So I blur the alpha a little bit, and I don't remember why. I guess to better matching these areas. Okay, and then the grade, again, the grade and color correction I copy from those guys. So grade, color correct. So as I said, the first thing I use the white point for adding more bluish color here. You can see it. So let me just disable those guys and see what's happened. Add more bluish tint. Then with the color correction, I work with the contrast, just add a tiny bit of contrast and add as a final a little bit of gamma and gain, again increasing the blue values here. So it's now better matching with this smoke. I guess it should be the same color. And now we can see it's looking pretty good. And let me turn off some those elements like a chromatic aberration and the grain. Okay, so additional elements here. You can see that the smoke has a little bit of purple color, and the reason is the lights, light from the fire is lighting this smoke. So what I did is go to the water surface, and I guess I should apply the smoke where the smoke and the smoke, yeah. I just take this guy, and that the battery from on my mouse is die very soon because I lose my mouse sometime. So I want to put this smoke to the smoke, additional smoke here under. Come on, where you are under? Yeah, like this, and then my ship there, yeah. No, after my ship, I guess. So again, put it here under that, yeah, and then make it that there. So I want to put this smoke behind the ship. So with the smoke, I add just a simple grade. So I using the white point, increasing the blue color here. So it's pretty simple. I'm not using any, extra elements, extra planes or something. So just a simple combination. And the ship parts, again, a simple grade to better matching with, with the background, have a better color here. And our smoke I render out, as I said, with the huge amount of the volume light, and I replace this volume light with existing model. So I just grab my sunlight and skylight, combine this, and add a little grade. So I thought that I can apply a little bit, a tiny bit of the volume light. Definitely can do this, can try, like grab this with the volume light direct and using the merge node with some maybe screen or plus operation, add a little bit of tint, from this fire. But with the big amount of tint like this, it's not looking very good. It's similar, okay, why this smoke is not lighting up with the such scale, because this smoke is much closer to the fire rather than this. But with a small amount, it look like a violet, I don't know, and is going out of this image. So I decided to remove maybe just this on, more like this area as this image. So again, it's up to you. You can decide what color is better, and then I add some chromatic aberrations and the grain on top of that. So this image. And the next thing I want to apply here is actually an animation, because this is just a static frame. And somehow, I don't know why I'm just, I make a test. So I want to change my, to the proper frame range setup. So I go to global, here we go. So it's just a static image. And what I want to do, I want to add the animation. And another thing what I mentioned on is that I create, I make this render with the light going from the right side. And from our image, main image, we see that this sun is over there. So I will do two different things. The first thing is I render out with an animation. So I grab like frame from 195 to somewhere here, frame 20, I don't know, 210, and turn my light to make the sun in that position, because it's a little bit unrealistic as for me. Well, if you fill this thing with the smoke, you can say, okay, I don't know where is the sun. I can't see the objects there on the ground, and I don't know where is, maybe sun really somewhere on the right side. But again, this ship should, I don't know, it should be over there. So I change my light and render out the animated sequences. So I save this file, and let's back to render, and we will see what you got with that. And we're back to compositing. That's what we have here. Oh, my mask is gone. Just need to fix it. So there's some areas. Yeah, here you go. And somehow is go away. Not pretty sure why, but I need to correct this. I have some issues with combining the smoke and my ship, so I add just a quick mask to fill some gaps here. So what is, I pre-render this animation because it takes some time for getting nice result. So it's looking good fire, and all this stuff is looking good. So what I did, I just render out a few frames. The render is not very fast, especially my computer. So I calculate, render out just over like almost 20 frames. And it took, I don't know, like a day for all those guys, and I use a 720. but I use a Chronos to make it a little bit slower, because I think that my simulation, you can see this simulation is slower, and it has like a 40% from original speed, because I decided that it's very, very fast. In fact, it's very fast for me for the large scale simulation. The smoke is and the fire moving too fast. So I decided to slow down the speed, and I increased my frame range. So except to just 20 frames or 19, somewhere there, I have a 45. So I decide to slow down each element separately rather than slow down the whole image. I think it will create a little bit more interesting, more correct result when we can just apply to each element and not for the whole image. Well, I'm not look on that, so I don't know, maybe not, maybe yes. So what I did, I had the same composing setup. Now you can see that when we render out my smoke from the light is from that direction, we have less shadows, but less, contrast areas, but still some light from the fire will leave the good, details here, because it's not very dark. If you have this composition without any kind of fire, it's looking weird and it's not too many details. But when you add back those elements, maybe I'll increase a little bit of mix to add a little bit more my volume light in the scene. It's looking good, it's looking pretty good. So getting back to my image, and all this stuff is fine. So all other thing I leave as it was. You can see we have the same setup for all those elements, nothing new. But I definitely should create a movement for the background, because we have a moving camera and the background should move too. So I decided to change a little bit to my image here, make some changes. So here's my image, and I'll add a little bit of glow here. It's not a glow, just a mask with a high blurry and, well, yeah, glow. A glow node with a huge size. And because, I want to have a little bit of light from behind of the smoke. So what I did, I take the same picture. You can see that we have the same background. And what I did, I make a transformation. I put the same picture on the right corner and leave this picture on the left corner. So why I'm doing it, because I get a camera. The camera was imported using the Alembic from my Houdini project. So it's the same camera. I just call camera 03 in this case, because that was from my original theme. And I use the same camera for projecting this image on a plane. So what I did is just create a few planes. I tried to match the same distance as Houdini. So I have, as you remember, have a plane with dimensions like 200 by 200. 1000 by 1000 to my water surface. So I try to paste this element somewhere on the same position, just not in 1000 by 500 meters there and 500 meters there. So Nuke has like a meters, but it doesn't have any, like meters, centimeters, but it has just a length unit. So I put two different planes in Nuke, they called cards, and project this part of an image in one card, which is here on this card, and the left part of the image on this card. So I use two different frame holds. So I project the one image from frame 195 is the beginning of my animation in this case, and another projection I did from frame 213. This is the end of my range render. Why I have 236? Because I have, as you remember, the chrono, which is create a bigger frame range. So I render out just 5 plus, so 18 frames. Okay, and I did one scanline render, so I render out just one plane and another one plane, and then merge them together. So we have a slightly line here. We can play with mask, with combining stuff, but again, I will fill all this area with the smoke, so I don't need to take too many time for deal with that. And I add the same chronos for the same frame range, so it should match perfectly, and apply my water here. So as I said, I don't care about this area. It's not pretty good, but I will see some parts of smoke here and here and here, and I won't see any of those elements I need fix. So add those elements, this smoke, those guys, and as a result we have this thing here. So yeah, I add some light from this area too. Where is it? I think it's somewhere here. Oh, I guess it's this somewhere. Just take some time for. Okay, let's fill it with smoke, and yeah. So all what I did is just make a roto, blur this stuff here, and merge over the alpha channel just on the area where we have some smoke here. So there's no aberration grade. I'm not adding those elements for now because I just want to make a quick render from Nuke, and they are a little bit expensive for this solution. And yeah, that's what I have. This nice animation is looking pretty good. Some aberration, grain, flares, and other element we can make this picture even better. But the main task for our lesson is creating effects. So I guess we did this. We did our effect, and it's look exactly how I want to. So I hope this lesson was useful for you, and I'll see you later.